feeling he needs to go up on the price per foot on all the roads that he would strike regardless of the length, half a penny, which I think equates to like $26 per mile. The, school symbols, school crosswalks, schools, or stop bars, any stop bars or stop signs, stop symbols and railroad crossings remain the same price as they was before. We did get him to put in his contract the price for, rumble strips that wasn't in his original contract. And those are the same price as what he gave us for the 255-6 project we did here a while back. Also, I'd like to note, if you allow me, we noticed once we got this that we didn't have the raised pavement markers, the RPMs that we put down the center of the road. And we emailed him back, he did give me an email that those would remain the same, they're $4.45 each. But those are not gonna increase, it's just the striking itself, the center lines and the edge lines. It would be my recommendation to renew his contract, to do a real good job for us, do a real timely.
That'd be my motion, Mr. Chair.
Second.
All right, I have a motion second to, continue with Mr. Jenkins' contract and renew it. All those,
This stuff was already in your budget, correct?
Yes, sir, this is just,
Just a renewal.
we don't
Yeah.
strike roads every year, but if we try to take construction in progress and wait till the latter part of the fiscal year. And then if we don't have a storm or anything and we got money left, that's what we do. And if we got, a few $1,000s, we strike what we can. We've done that in the past. We don't do it every year, but
Right.
it would come out of our budget, that's correct.
Yeah, there are some stuff some out there that need.
There are many roads out there that need to be
Yeah.
restriped.
What roads are you kinda looking at, Lonnie?
We would
Country
have to give a new list, Country Kitchen's been
Kitchen, wow.
mentioned, 255 south of Lee has been mentioned,
yeah,
I think, Captain
Kitchen,
Bowie
yeah.
Road up in Sheer Lake, I think it's real bad.
Well, you answered my question, but this is not just new construction.
No, sir,
Whatever.
the new construction, we have a separate line item price for striping in yet, so, they usually get Jenkins to do their striping, but that's in the contract
Okay.
when we do the paving. So this would be what we would do on our own with our.
All right, quick question, just to bring me up, on this 4-inch, is this, for each stripe on the road? If you have a divided line, it would be,
Yes,
and, okay.
and there are two columns. We have 4-inch stripes and 6-inch. Most everything we do 6-inch. Some of the real narrow blacktop roads that are only 18 or 19 foot wide, sometimes we'll do 4-inch where it doesn't look so narrow once you paint.
And if you do the white boundaries, that's an extra, okay.
Yes, and you got a price for each for solid and skip. So if it's a solid line, obviously it costs more than it do the skip lines or castings on.
all right, I know it's in your budget, do you have enough in your budget to handle the increase that he was speaking of?
Yes, sir, we'll just try whatever we can afford.
Work.
We may do less mileage.
Very good point, very good point.
I may not have money to do
Yeah, I
anything.
understand, well, we'll take it, okay.
What we do, we try to get the roads and figure out what it'll cost, and we do what we can afford to do. And we normally bring that to you guys and let you vote on that. We don't just go out there and typically strike on what we see. We've done that in the past. I think we did some for you 3 or 4 years ago.
All right, so I have a,
You have a motion and a second?
I do have a motion second, right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. 5 votes. All right, Mr. Blair.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
I've gone on Floridina Road and the construction looks good.
Thank you.
Had some
They're not
calls,
finished. They got some shoulder work to do, and I think they still have to do the striping.
yeah, had some calls from some of the residents, some glad to see it paved, some don't want it paved.
Well, it's a road. A lot of people don't like a paved road.
Some want speed bumps and some don't want speed
That's
bumps.
usually the first thing we hear. Spend $500,000 paved road and then one
But,
road.
I wondered if we could put up a sign that say maybe watch for children or something like that as you go across the railroad track. Somewhere.
Yeah, we can look into that.
Okay,
If you'll give me, the locations. We do that occasionally.
okay.
Yeah, in a little light note, I called, what at home when my granddaughter found out there was a whole bunch of, roads being paved, she liked driving on, they like right off their roads, and we're ruining teenagers, that's just too bad. Okay.
Can't satisfy everyone.
I
That's
know,
right.
you can't, if you try to do that, you'll never get anywhere. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lonnie.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Blair, number 2. Will be updating on the solid waste department mowing.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We'll see what we can do to make this pretty quick here, but.
Thank you.
Just wanted to update y'all on the mowing situations on that back there with the Veteran Center, courthouse, on that back there annex such as that one, that we, have that under control this year with one of the substitutes that I have on that one, instead of having to depend on the inmate labor as much. Ray Buzzy is gonna actually take, over the courthouse on that as far as weed control, fertilizer, flower beds, stuff like that one, rather than working it other ways. So it's gonna be a joint effort on that one and working with it. We're also working on a better plan for the cleaning of the courthouse, the annex supervisor, elections, purchasing management, extension office and the road department. We're trying to have our crew there, but especially the courthouse in and out before 8 AM, mopping and cleaning, so we don't have to worry about anybody slipping and falling such as that. So, hopefully that'll get even better this year. At the same time, Mr. Kaufman, Mary, and myself have been working on, updating our payment policy and procedures for the businesses that we serve in Madison County. We have some new policy and agreements that we hope to come to you, at the next April 10th board meeting, so should have them, everything on the agenda and ready to move with it, Other than that, that's what we got.
What we're talking about is some policies that, especially for open top containers, the 20-yard open top containers that people will call and wanna dispose of a house or something like that. In the past, you'll remember, a lot of times people would basically get in debt and then have a hard time paying us. What we're looking at is coming up with a policy is you basically have to pay ahead of time, you know, per dumpster, per load, you have to pay for that. We basically know how many tons can go in the dumpster, and we know what the fee is gonna be, so we're looking at bringing that back to you to where people pay ahead of time. And now, thanks to Clay and Mary and Donna and them, people can pay by credit card out there. So if you want to, you can call up, give them the credit card through the phone, order the dumpster can be delivered. If you say, I need it another time, you go ahead and pay for the next load, and we'll haul it off and bring it right back. So those are some things that we're looking at doing, so people don't get so far in debt that they can't pay. And, also we have some issues with some of the compactors, that we're hauling for other people are overweight. And we're gonna have to coming up with some policies on what that means, there should be some kind of fee if they're overweight, because if we get caught on the highways with overweight dumpsters, it's gonna mean points on our driver's license and it's wear and tear on our truck. So those are some things that Clay's been working on that we're gonna be bringing back to you.
Okay, sounds good. And I will compliment you on what I've seen around collector's sites as well as the work being done in this building in the morning. I've seen a lot of improvement.
I appreciate how fast you word on to the people.
And courthouse is looking good.
Yes, it is.
We trying to improve.
I'll move on down to, item number 4, a review and possible approval of the bids on tennis courts and, kind of Madison Recreation Center. We've got, I believe, 2 bids submitted. You'll bring that up.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, this is, we had spoke a few months back about, building a couple new tennis courts out at the recreation park. And this is part of the money that, part of the money will come from the sale of the property, the western side of that property, and then some of it will come from the tourist development. We advertised it in the local paper on March 6th and 13th, and we received a couple bids. I also want to recognize Judy White. She's here tonight. Judy, do you have anybody else with you tonight?
I don't believe they did show up.
Okay, we kind of have an ad hoc committee that's helped us with this. They've kind of gone through, since I don't play pickleball or tennis, I'm relying on some of their expertise, and so when we put these bids out, they kinda looked at the specs, and our clerk, also an ex-tennis pro, he helped out too, with recommendations on fence sizing and things like that. And so, and we have that included in here. We did receive 2 bids, for the courts, CM Brandy's and McGath Industries, or Talbot Tennis. One for, 97,410 and the other for 97,571. Judy, did you wanna, speak to it, or?
Well, I would really like to see that, I would really like to see more bids and more competition in the bidding process. I would like to see, an email go out to surrounding certified tennis court companies to get more of a competitive bid. I think we need more than 2 to consider.
Right.
So I'd like to, I ran a list of certified tennis court construction companies and came up with about 35 within a 4-hour range. And I would be more than happy to assist in sending out the bid to those companies to see if we can get a more competitive bid, at least to consider. And
Right. Yeah, with that many, and they may not have picked it up in the paper. Sometimes there's companies that actually that watch papers and then pick it up and then re-solicit it to people on their list, but sometimes people don't get it. So I think what she's asking is that we look at bidding it, and she's volunteered to help get it to people that are professional tennis constructors, I guess, contractors.
I think we all received an email from, 3 or 4 of the pickleball, enthusiasts. Is there any requirements or restrictions on rebidding it, for anybody? Can we just, is that okay to go ahead and rebid it? I guess I'll direct that question to you, Bree.
I didn't see the bid, I assume it said the commission can reject any and all bids for any or no reason. Did the bid say that?
Well, I think it's included in,
The specs.
we'd have to look through here, but the whole specs, the whole package is right here.
But I mean, the advertisement in the paper.
Yeah.
We don't have a copy before us, Mr. Chairman, on what was in the paper. Typically we do, but I will not guarantee that was on there. Cause we typically take the one we used last time and just adjust it.
When was the last time we bid out there?
Don't like we have.
But that need to be a requirement on everything that we give out, reserve the right to.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, normally that's what, everything we put on there, we reserve that right.
So anyway, if we don't know whether that's on there, probably, is there a reason this has to be done today, or could we find
No,
that out?
sir, no, we can find that out and bring it back.
That'd be my recommendation then. If it doesn't have to be done today, let's find that, and then the next meeting, we can put a copy of the advertisement in the,
Right.
in the packet along with this, and then
Yeah.
y'all can make a decision.
I think that'll be all right, Ms. Weiss, we'll, continue this until the 10th. I know y'all are eager to get these courts built, but, I wanna make sure we're on legal footing, legal ground to do this, and I have no objection to rebidding it, I just wanna make sure we're on solid legal ground. All right, we'll table this then and move it to the 10th, give us cost and time to research that. All right, going back up to number 3, possible approval for bids of sale of the timber, parcel on northeast, Rochport Road.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, in your package, you'll see, a memo that we put together for you. talking about, due to the wet conditions, timber prices are up, this year. And we had a 20-acre tract out by the landfill that we had no sale, about a year and a half ago, because we didn't get a very good bid on it. So you will find in here a copy of the two bids that we did receive, one from Genesis Timber for $7,244.89. The other from Flatwood Forest Products, for $22,301. Also, we had requested a 10% deposit on this. I'm sorry, 15% deposit on this. Genesis did not submit the 15% deposit. Flatwoods did submit a check for 15% of that value. Also, when this one went out, it was advertised in the local paper, and we also used the timber sale list that the Swanee River Water Management District has. We used, I think, did we send it out twice on this? We sent it out on the old list, and then we also obtained their new email list, which has over 150 people that receive timber sale information from the Water Management District. And in reviewing that list, you can see that it's got most of the large players in our area for timber sales. But we would recommend going with the Flatwoods Forest products.
Make that motion.
I have a motion.
Second.
And I have a second for Flatwoods, Forest Products to receive the timber bid for, the parcel on March 4th. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? All opposed, same sign. 5-0. All right. All right, that brings us down to the, request for the approval of fishing tournament at Cherry Lake.
Mr. Chairman, you have a couple copies here that, I think, was this Tommy Harding that submitted this, gentlemen? Tommy had submitted them. Were y'all are y'all here for that, Andy? Did y'all wanna speak to that at all?
Yes.
Okay. I really don't know much about it other than Tommy had submitted it. They're asking, and basically what this allows, the board to do is to waive the parking requirements. You know, we only have the 7 boat slips, so, with the board's approval, this allows people to, allows the fishing tournament to park in the other, parking spots out there besides the 7 boat slips. So I think you got 3, you're requesting. Okay, one's already passed, so this will be April 9th and April 23rd.
April 9th.
One's tomorrow, isn't it?
Huh?
Do you want the March 26th?
I got the
to read
26th.
March the 20?
Is that, you said that's the wrong date?
We was wanting to do it tomorrow, but whatever y'all decide.
Can we
Change it?
Can we change the date to tomorrow?
I don't have a
I don't
problem.
have a problem with that. Okay,
Tomorrow the 28th.
28th.
Mr. Chairman, I'd make a motion that we would, approve these 3 tournaments and, give them on tournament night during this specific time, overflow parking there at and on the pavement there at the boat ramp.
Okay, I have a motion to approve all 3. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, motion is second. For March 28th, April 9th, and the third one for April 23rd. Right, okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All opposed, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Will, 5-0. All right. We got that.
I do have one question.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman. I wanna make sure I'm clear there on his motion. Was the motion to approve overflow parking on the parking area at the boat ramp only, or at the boat ramp down the, I know that's been a part of point of contention for you guys over the last year. So I'm
During
sure that was-
the permitted, tournament would be, they could use overflow parking in the pavement, which is vehicle, yes.
Well, then,
And one more, I want to clarify one more thing, and a previous meeting, it was said that they had to have a person there on premise to hold a permit.
On shore.
Yes. I've been asked by these tournament fishermen if they could make a copy of their approval and place these on the dash of their truck, so the sheriff's office could verify that they are involved in the tournament.
Mr. Chairman.
yes,
I think that was said, and I don't have it here in front of me, but I think that was part of the ordinance. So I don't know that y'all can change that sitting here. I think if y'all wanna change that and make it where they can just Xerox it and put it on the dashboard where they can see it, I mean, yeah, I think you could do it that way. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, other than we can't just amend an ordinance at any meeting.
I think we need to point out that that all three of these are at night, from 6 to 10 at night, so I don't see where there would be a tremendous problem there. So,
Sheriff, you have a thought on that?
No, we'll work with you, however you wanna do it, but just remind y'all, we don't make the law,
no, yeah.
we enforce it. So if that's what y'all wanna do, it's fine with me, and we don't have a problem with either, one way or another. Having the person there, at each tournament was just to try to eliminate, other people from being in there that wasn't part of the tournament, but we don't care how many people's there. And we're not gonna regulate it, we're gonna follow the rules, so, but it's always been my understanding that you guys are gonna approve these tournaments. And then just notify us that a tournament's going on, and if there was any question, there'd be someone there to notify, about members of the people that were approved, but having a piece of paper or dated for the approval in the windshields or whatever you wanna do is gonna be fine with me. We're not gonna have an issue with it. And we're not gonna be up there anyway unless by God somebody calls me and is complaining. So unless there's something going on, or we're not gonna be up there and don't wanna be up there unless we may be patrolling and see it, but if we are, we need to know, we should know ahead of time that there's a tournament going on that's been approved, and that should, as far as I'm concerned, that should be the procedure. And I thought that was the procedure. I thought that this was gonna be, the guys were gonna make a request ahead of time, just like you would do for the blocking the street at a party or whatever. You guys would approve it or disapprove it. If you approved it, you let us know, so that if we do get a complaint that there's more people than 7 there, or if we do happen up on it and we see more than 7, that we say, it's a tournament, so we keep on going.
That looks good.
It's not our initiative to bother these guys or you guys, but we just need direction on it, and that's all.
That's good.
Thank you.
Is that clear?
Yep.
Thank you.
You y'all wanna bring back, they want me to bring back the ordinance, or just leave it right now?
I would be separate.
I think the sheriff has answered that.
I don't see it more than that. Mr. White, you had a question?
Yes, sir. Were y'all looking for the advertisement in the paper or the advertisement in the packet and the specs on the tennis?
Both.
Okay, well, we've got both.
What does it say?
The advertisement in the paper said bids must be turned into the county coordinator's office at blah, 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 room, blah, 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 prior to 4 o'clock Wednesday, March 20th, and will be opened immediately after the due date and time. Bids will then be presented to the Madison Board of County Commissioners during the meeting on Wednesday, March 27th. Doesn't say it'd be agreed on or approved or disapproved, just be presented.
Nothing about reserving the right to reject.
Doesn't say that.
Doesn't say that, doesn't say
Nothing about-
would agree to it either. Does it necessarily need to say,
Honestly, I don't know, I'm gonna have to look at it. I don't know.
Well,
alright, so I read
I
that.
guess we're still gonna have to go to the 10th, with White. Appreciate you finding that and reading that, but, I was under the impression that they all automatically said that. I don't know, I thought we had the right to reject all submitted bids,
But in the
If that's
future,
stated in the ad, if
Yeah.
that's stated in there, I thought it was supposed to be stated in all of them.
well,
There's no question we can't state it, the question is if it's not stated, do we just naturally have that,
yeah.
that right? And I don't know the answer to that, we'll have to look at it.
all right, any further business for the board? Okay, Mr. Reed,
No, sir, unless you have questions of me.
Mr. Davis?
March 20th, went to Tallahassee, was invited by Senator Montford. He is the chair of the, Committee on Environmental, Agriculture, Environmental and Natural Regulation, specifically about the, Valdosta wastewater treatment, failures. And I had the opportunity to testify before that committee, myself and a couple other task force commissioners, and, I think it went very well, and I'm very pleased with what progress we've been making as far as getting the attention of our legislators. And, had a meeting today at 2:00 with, Governor DeSantis's, staff on policy, and also the Secretary of DEP was there. And, that meeting went as well, went pretty good as far as, they understand the issues we're having, and I think we've made a lot of good progress with that. And, we do have a meeting on April the 10th, 6 p.m. This is a scheduled workshop, public meeting at the City of Valdosta, at their chambers, the task force members, and also their city council. And, it's a workshop to discuss, where they're at, timelines for repairing all the issues that they're having, and what our concerns are. And, we've also had the ear of, Senator, Scott and Senator Rubio's office. Scott Coons was in Washington this week, or last week, and had a meeting with his staff, and that went very well, specifically discussing this issue. So we do have a lot of, stuff going on, and we do have, interest, to remedy, to solve the situation.
I want to thank you, Mr. Davis. I've had the pleasure of watching the, hearing, and I thought you did a very excellent job, and I commend you for it, and thank you from this commission that you represent, as well as the task force. I know you serve on too. Thank you very much.
Okay. And just one more thing I wanna add, Commissioners, if y'all don't mind. Last year, these guys left, but, we passed this ordinance, I know the sheriff just mentioned it. One thing we did not do, and there was a lot of discussion on, was the fees that we were gonna charge. And I hope we've got the signage up as far as the parking and all the issues that the citizens had around the lake. But one thing that we didn't do, we didn't come back to, was the fact about the fees. I know that, the attorney's already found and determined that we can charge out-of-state fees and in-state fees. And I think that that's something that we need to, because springtime's coming, the lake's gonna get popular again, and we need to get those established. And those, in my opinion, I think if we can have that agenda for soon, a board meeting to lock that down and get those signages out. And one other thing it mentioned is a possibility, I don't know if y'all have any interest in doing this, but to bidding that park out to a vendor to run it and operate it, and then they collect all fees and whatever those fees may be. But just as a suggestion, parking, fees, operating it, cleaning it, maintaining it, and contract it out to an entrepreneur.
Thank you. Mr. Mark?
Don't have any.
I would echo what, Commissioner Davis said. I think we ought to really seriously look at it. We are gonna agenda this, that we ought to think about leasing this thing out to a private vendor, and we need to get out of that business. I think it would serve us well to do that. Commissioner Wolf?
find someone that we could lease or rent that property out to a contract and let them do the oversight and the operations. It would be a benefit for everybody.
Mr. Martin?
Okay, just one brief comment, the, Robert's Rules of Work, and I'm gonna refer back to Armadillo Trail. You know, a motion was made, didn't get a second, so that's it. I don't know who had that put on the agenda, but, I mean, the person that put it on the agenda might not be happy, but the rules work, right, Attorney?
Yes, sir.
Right. Mr. Calvin?
I've got some dates here for you. The Cherry Lake, we do have an agreement with ARC. So ARC does collect the money. They open the gate, or not open the gate, gates are open all the time, but they do collect the money and kind of control people. They can do the mowing, the trash pickup. We do any major repairs, but we do kind of have, I mean, we do have somebody that is doing that, a nonprofit is doing that. I mean, we can always look at doing something with somebody else if you'd like to, or we could even do something with this, with the, tournament approval, and just have them, basically, we give them some guidelines and they follow the guidelines on the tournament approvals, if that's what you're looking for. But, we can probably talk about it further, but we do have, I just want to remind you that they do a lot of that work up there for us.
That's temporary, around the year, right?
No, they take care of it year round. Now, they don't charge fees year round because it's not worth their time to be up there to collect the fees. But actually, the fee is required, it's an honor system this time of year. The fee's still required, but they only go up there and actually work the gate when they have enough people coming through to make it worth their while to have somebody on staff. But they do take care of the site year round.
Well, I think what we're saying, if I paraphrase what Mr. Davis has said as well as Mr. Waller, I think we're saying we kinda like to get out of the business of it and let somebody else take it over completely.
Well, one question, with, Commissioner Davis, during your thought process there, will Cherry Lake be included in that recreational proposal?
As far as Cherry Lake.
Being controlled by the vendors. Recreation, part of the recreation umbrella.
Well, I'm thinking about the boat ramp or the entire park, yeah. As far as the facilities.
Yes.
Yeah, they would be maintaining them.
Yeah.
That's just my thought. I mean, we can do
Well,
whatever you
just a
want to
thought, I mean, it's something that's worth looking at.
do. I would also encourage, reach out to the state agencies to see, like the state of Florida, for instance, if they wanna take it over to the park and run it in the park, just like they do Bruce Brand.
Well. Yeah.
If y'all are through with the ramp, can I make another comment, Mr. Chairman?
Go ahead.
Back to this tennis court thing. It may be a stupid question. If you only have one bid or 100 bids or whatever, but the lowest bid came in $1 million, would you still be obliged to accept it?
The issue is, and that I don't know off the
Right.
top of my head, because it hasn't come up in a long time. Is this a contract? Okay, so if you do a bid and you say, well, we're gonna award this to the lowest bidder, well then, if you don't put yourself an out and say we have the right to reject any and all bids, you may be stuck with the highest bid's $1 million and you award it to them. I don't recall the law on that right now, then, that's my only thing, but yes, there are circumstances where you're stuck. And if you don't get a bid as low as you want, you could be stuck, theoretically. Now, the ins and outs of that, I don't recall off the top of my head, I'm sorry for that, I don't, because normally, and that's why you put those kind of provisos in bids, and you say we reserve the right to reject any and all bids, and then you also put in generally, we reserve the right to waive any informality that does not affect substance of bid, and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So it's just something we gotta look at.
Okay, and the other thing is, it doesn't say that you would accept the lowest bid. It just says the bids would be presented. And so, and it's just,
I know.
could you reject all bids and possibly change the scope of the work somehow and rebid it?
If you can reject all bids, then you can change the scope or not change the scope. That doesn't really, that's not part of it. If you can reject it, you can reject it and then do what you want later. The question is, are you bound to accept the low bid right now?
Okay.
I think certainly it's understood that if you bid out a project of any type, that the bidders understand they're trying to get the low bid. I mean, I think everybody understands that. But I think the question is, the way it was presented, does that bind us to take that low bid or not? And I just don't know that off the top of my head.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, if I could, a couple more things. We have, remind everybody, we got Division 2030 meeting tomorrow night, 6 o'clock, Church of God. Saturday, 30th, we got opening baseball out at the rec park. April 10th, the afternoon of April 10th is, we're gonna probably be closing the annex, for some, training, law enforcement active shooter type training with the, property appraiser's tax collector's office. And, also I think Sherilyn has provided y'all a copy of the Florida Association of Counties annual meeting coming up in June. It's gonna be the first part of June this year. And so if you could let us know as soon as possible if you're gonna go, so we can reserve a room if you're gonna go, and what workshops, if you're taking classes, what classes that you wanna take, while you're there. And I believe that's all I got.
I tentatively plan to go, all things work right, and on that note, I'll be, in, Gainesville for the last ACC training of the year on the 11th and 12th of April, and I'm probably gonna be going down the evening of the 10th, but I'll be out of town those 2 days. Ms. Pickles, did you have anything?
Jim?
Yes.
One thing, if you haven't noticed, I guess they are finished with the concrete work in the alleyway next door. It looks a really good job. If you haven't seen it, be sure and stop in. A real good improvement.
We've been very busy in the last couple of weeks. Bill, anything?
Doing good.
Well, Mr. Mayor, I see you're back there.
Sir?
Okay.
Just observing how real meetings run.
I've been the city commissioner. Thank you. All right, do I have a motion